Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We are fighting for our right to live, to exist, and should we win this day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We are going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Hello and welcome to the CineBeards. Today, we're going to be talking about disaster movies. I'm your host, Jason Musicanth. That was the luscious voice of Marcus Knafe.
He's back here for some reason.
He can independence my day anytime. And that was the sexy, sultry voice of Dion Van Heerden.
Hello.
Now, this coming Friday, coming to cinemas?
Cinemas,
Coming to cinemas. I suddenly developed a list in the last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Coming to cinemas is what is bound to be a horrible movie, Geostorm.
Geostorm? But Jason, that sounds so engaging.
I know,
because
right?
it's a storm, but of a geo. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like a
Your
geography
Jufro
teacher
is
storm.
so distracting. your freaking, what do you call it?
Faux hawk.
It's a
Yeah,
faux
your
hawk
mo-
now because
yeah,
I've
your
grown hair back here.
It's a mohawk with a Jufro on top.
It's a fro hawk.
frohawk. And there's like a
Superman girl.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
not, that's
cheeky
not
little
really
girl.
a Superman curl.
Yeah, that's
It's
just
more of
guys-
an average man
guys,
curl.
what makes a
My
curl a
confidence isn't
Superman.
as high as Marcus. We can't make fun of me.
What makes a Superman cool is the context. On its own, it's just a cool. All right.
Okay.
Now that we're all done with that distraction.
Okay. So essentially, what Geostorm is the government
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
has,
Okay, I'm down.
has developed satellites
Right?
to
They do that.
control the weather.
Oh my god!
But-
I've
but
seen this James Bond movie.
Okay. So surely they do it not in any preposterous way, like dropping a bunch of capsules from orbit.
Yeah. Look. The only way to fight a storm is with bombs, Dion.
Okay. All right. Good.
That's
Like,
not how
you're not the government. You don't know these things.
All right. Okay. I'm still tentatively on board. So
Okay.
what is the premise?
Okay, but wait, that's the thing. Why the hell didn't they just bomb Katrina? Or
No, this is
Harvey?
after
Or
that.
Irma?
This is after that. We've learned.
Oh.
Now we control the weather.
Oh, now
No.
is it only now after those
But
hurricanes?
it can also cause like crazy weather things to happen to their
Yeah.
enemies.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing is when you start bending the weather to your will, the weather fights back.
Exactly.
All right. So what's the sort of the basic premise of this film?
I don't know if it gets hacked or if it goes rogue, but either way, the satellite goes out of control and starts weathering the shit out of Earth.
All right.
Amazing.
Cool. All right. Cool. So why don't they just unweather it?
That's exactly what Gerard Butler tries to do.
And then what happens?
Some guy spins a car around, and then the president tells somebody to marry a girl.
Outstanding. I'm on board.
That's what I picked up from the trailer. Anyway.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
Oh my god, that's the trailer where they abduct the president
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
rental car.
And then
no, in a self-driving car.
a self-driving car.
It's
And-
our hubris of technology.
And then Gerard Butler says goodbye to Murph because he's going into space.
Yeah, he's late for his congressional hearing.
I came from space.
I had to come from space. God, that looks so bad. That looks like the Sharknado people pitched one of their films, and then someone at the studio wasn't paying attention. They're like, "Yes, Jerry Bruckheimer, here's $200 million." Like, I'm not Jerry. Actually, you know what? It's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, and It looks like
What?
the biggest mess that I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Well,
and
it's
I-
also been delayed
Whoa!
for 4 years.
You've seen like
Yeah.
3 or 4 Justice League trailers. Let's not
Yeah.
get ahead of ourselves
yeah,
here.
to be fair,
But yeah, that looks absolutely appalling, and I cannot wait to read the reviews. I think the reviews are going to be more entertaining than the film.
Yeah. It's
I-
going to
I-
be
I
one of
kinda-
those.
I kind of wait for it to come out on DVD, home release and stuff. Get a bunch of Krabbies,
Ah,
just get wasted and watch. Well, I don't know. I don't support alcoholism.
no.
No.
Kick alcoholism in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, kick
Kick it in the dick.
kids. If you're listening, kick alcoholism in the dick.
But do support Krabbies and enjoy it responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes out in home release, we'll enjoy a couple of 6-packs each of Krabbies responsibly.
If you're a child sitting and feeling alone in the world and feeling like society doesn't understand you, don't turn to drugs. Krabbies is a perfect substitute for a parent's love. Krabbies, please sponsor us.
But anyway, it's gonna be a lot of fun to just sit and watch that with a bunch of friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. It's just good. It's gonna be ID 42.
ID 42.
ID 42. ID 422049.
Oh my god.
You can't just keep adding numbers to things,
It's
Jason.
gonna be Independence Day 2 all over again. It's gonna be Independence Day 2-2.
Independence Day 4.
2-2. No, Desmond 2-2.
Okay, so I guess in honor
There we go.
of Geostorm, we're gonna look at some of our favorite and least favorite disaster movies.
I think one of the most interesting thing about disaster movies is the disastrous way in which they are categorized.
Yeah.
What are some of the films that are considered disaster movies?
Well, you got things like Deep Impact, Armageddon, Dante's Peak, Titanic, Gravity, Towering Inferno.
okay. So
Okay.
one of you two explain to me the logic that's going through the head of someone who classifies Gravity as a disaster film.
It is some kind of event beyond human control that puts lives in danger.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I can't remember the exact way it falls into it. I just
Alright.
remember seeing that Gravity is technically a disaster film and going, huh?
Huh?
And then I kind of moved on.
Yeah.
All right. And Titanic. Would you consider Titanic a disaster film?
I would consider Titanic a love story
There we go.
framed within a disaster movie.
I think no, set against the backdrop of a disaster.
Against the better put.
Yeah.
Against the backdrop of a disaster.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it does sink and people do die. It is kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it's a disaster, but honestly, the
really
disaster
the
film,
focus.
the connotation with the disaster film is it's like, hey, we're all going about our lives here. Oh shit, there's a meteor that's gonna kill us all.
Yeah.
Oh crap, there's
There's
a
a wall of
volcano
water.
that explodes. Yeah. Oh, there's a tsunami. Like that's a disaster film.
Yeah. Basically, it has to be directed by Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. He is the master
Is
of...
Bruckheimer somewhere on the poster, like credited with something?
If yes, it's a disaster
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
movie.
Also, there we go. Very often, disaster films themselves are disasters.
Yes.
So we need a new category, a meta disaster
Yes.
film.
For something like, I want to say San Andreas, but then again, The Rock
GTA.
was just San Andreas, the movie with The Rock and the earthquake.
I was middle of the road as far as they go. It's nowhere near the worst.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
was
it's not
It's not Independence Day 2.
it's not Independence Day 2, and it's definitely not The Core.
The Core. Jason, tell me about The Core.
Okay, well,
Wait, I've seen The Core. I think.
it's that Aaron Eckhart vehicle.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Can I summarize this
Oh,
one?
please
Can I-
do.
I want to try.
Please do.
Okay. So Aaron Eckhart, and I want to say a Sandra Bullock type.
All right.
I'm actually gonna pull up who it is while you're talking. Do go on.
So Aaron Eckhart and the Sandra Bullock type are some kinds of scientists, and they find out that the Earth rotation is slowing down, and the only way to get it to speed back up, because obviously if the Earth's rotation slows down, seasons get longer and shorter and just wreaks havoc with the entire planet, allegedly. And the only way to get it to spin faster again is to drill down into the Earth
Are they gonna put a nuke in there?
And they're gonna nuke
Yes!
the core.
No, not one nuke. 5 nukes that they have to set off in the core, and it is Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank,
Oh
like
my
I said, a
God.
Sandra Bullock
Okay,
type.
wait. So were they sitting around in the writers' room? They're like, okay, cool, and they're gonna put a nuke in the core. And they're like, oh, that's gold. And then the next day, they're like, guys, I figured out a way to take it to the next level. What if they have to put in 2 nukes? and this just went on until they ran out
Until
of
they
writing
went like,
time.
It went on until
5.
somebody
5 nukes, man.
until somebody dropped the mic when they came up with the name of the
The drill.
not the drill, but the mission to go and do these.
Oh my god. Wait, just lay it on me.
Destiny. It is the Deep Earth Seismic Trigger Initiative. And they can call it Destiny. Project Destiny.
That's not how acronyms work, movie. No, I actually do remember watching The Core many, many years ago.
I haven't even seen this and it just gave me so much cancer.
Yeah.
It is not a good movie.
The Earth,
I need to
it
see this.
it stops rotation during the course of the movie.
What?
Things don't, like, fly off, and, like, shit doesn't go too
Yeah.
far wrong other than birds just not knowing how to fly and some pacemakers stopping working.
Yes.
Because that's the biggest fucking issue when the Earth stops rotating. Oh,
Yeah.
my pacemaker failed.
I'll tell you what the biggest issue is. The Earth stops with the hole in the ozone layer, like, directly in between the sun and San Francisco. And it then
You're
melts
fucking
the
joking.
Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
You're fucking joking.
No.
The Golden Gate Bridge melts away.
You kind of want to watch
No.
it now, right?
You fucking talking shit.
No, you really kind of want to watch it now, right?
Oh my god.
I think we've legitimately broken Dion.
It's like a kid with a magnifier.
Exactly. Except the kid is God.
Oh. Oh, thank you for that. Oh man. All right. I need
okay.
to see the top of my list.
I'm actually pretty sure it's on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch the.
I'm
crap
reasonably sure it's
And
there.
obviously, because it's a disaster movie, people are dying on their way to solve this problem of
Of course.
blowing up the
And I'm
5
sure
nukes.
they're all the
Wait,
characters
isn't-
are just
isn't-
beautifully fleshed out.
Because, sorry, all of these teams in these types of disaster movies also have a token black character,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Isn't it Michael Clark Duncan in this one as well?
Ooh, I would have to double check on that. All I know is they lose a couple of them on the way, and there's some complications and stuff,
Oh yeah.
and they end up, rather than just having to detonate just 5 nukes at once,
Yeah.
they got to detonate them at certain places in the core. So they've got to fly their underground spaceship drill worm thing
What?
through the core, dropping off each piece of this centipede individually, timing them so they explode and start the core of the Earth, the magma in the core of the Earth spinning again,
Yeah.
and then
Fuck
escape.
you. Fuck you. That's bullshit.
No,
That's not in the
Escape.
movie.
Yes.
Only Aaron Eckhart and
It
Hilary
is.
Swank escape. Everyone else, I think one person dies by accident. The rest all sacrifice themselves for the journey. And the way they get found at the end when they make their way back up to sea level is Hilary Swank's really good at whale noises. So they just
No.
make whale noises.
No, you're just fucking with me
People
now.
above hear whale noises and they're like, whale noises. That must be the drill people. Let's go save them.
No.
And
Yes.
just before they
I don't
run out
do
of
it.
oxygen,
I honestly have
just
I
before they run
honestly
out of
don't
oxygen,
believe you
they
anymore.
get saved.
I was with you up until the point, but I honestly do not believe you anymore.
Like,
I'm calling
like,
bullshit.
No, like legitimately.
I'm not joking.
The
I'm
whale.
calling bullshit.
No, we're also not joking. Whale noises
I don't
are
believe
a
you.
plot point.
whale noises are blood. And the thing is, they don't just throw them in at the end. They do have the plant, the reminder, and the payoff
Yeah.
for the whale noises.
Fuck you, I'm Wikipedia this now. Okay, you guys can keep talking. I'm gonna fucking read this
Please do.
and call your bluff.
When you get to the synopsis, Dion, read it out.
I'm gonna call your freaking bluff here. All right. Okay, lots of people sacrificing themselves.
Dion's just struggling a little bit to follow
Yeah,
the
for
synopsis.
those.
Okay, wait. I want
Listening.
to get to the last. I want to get to the ending here. All right. The beacon attracts a nearby
First.
whale pod, and Finch is able to trace their whale songs to locate the Virgil.
The
Virgil is the
Virgil's
ship.
the name of the ship.
Yeah.
And as you can see from that,
Oh, Destiny with an I!
yeah, I told you it's bad.
Oh!
This stripper destinied it.
And like the last line of the synopsis is, a week after the mission, Finch unleashes the full details of the mission, including those lost, and of Destiny to the public via the internet.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it was a secret mission, because they thought the world would notice that it stopped spinning. Let's not let the public panic. Okay. Days are slightly longer.
Okay.
Also, this
honestly-
was 2003, so releasing something on the internet.
Okay, honestly, yeah, it's a good point. The thing is, another problem I have with films like this, aside from the fact that I know that this Wikipedia page is a prank, you guys have somehow like this is a long con. This is bullshit. The problem with films like this is the fact that in a film like this, the government will be like, okay, cool, let's hide the fact that the Earth isn't spinning, right?
Nobody will notice.
Right. It's set in the US, it's set in real locations. There are a lot of impressionable, stupid people in the world. And we wonder why flat earth theory has taken off again. It's because of shit like this, where people are like, oh, the government is lying to us about the earth being round. No reason. Like, none of them gets in a fucking boat and just sails till they get to the end and take a photograph of it. They just...
Well, no,
like,
because the government has set it up that they'll just...
everything's just the gov. If you have to suspend disbelief that this much, it's really not that much. Like, flat earth theory makes sense if this is your worldview.
Oh god, I can't wait for a disaster movie that's like, guys, the world is flat
No,
and it's about to
Marcus,
flip.
No.
Can we make that movie,
Oh,
guys?
no, and then it's gonna be a hero. It's gonna be like an unlikely underdog story because you have to target stupid people, but you also need to target other people who sort of feel marginalized and stuff. So you need to target fat people, like
Yes.
really fat people, like me. You basically need to target like the obese. So you've got all these people that like they're just sad in their retail jobs. They're working at Walmart, overweight. People make fun of them, and the government's like, we need all the fat people. And we're gonna ship you out. The world is actually flat, and we're gonna ship you out to the edge of it, and we're gonna deploy you at strategic points to stop the Earth from flipping.
Can the hero...
And all the skinny people are gonna die on the way. There's gonna be like a skinny engineer who sacrifices himself so the obese people can get there.
Can the hero be a blogger?
Yes.
Yes.
Here is a blogger, and he's a gravelly voiced white male.
Does he like My Little Pony?
Yes, and he's going to be played by an incredibly handsome actor, but everyone in the film will perceive him as very
So like
ugly.
a Ryan Reynolds type.
Yeah, he'll be Ryan Reynolds, but everyone in the film will be like, oh, that weird looking dude, and with his friggin' blonde.
Oh, sort of like they did with the Amazing Spider-Man, where they
Yeah.
cast Hot Peter Parker.
Yeah, and they made him a cool skateboarder dude,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, oh, he's such a loser.
Yeah, what a loser! Skateboarding? It's 2012, bro.
He's handsome and athletic. He was a loser in that movie because he was a 30-year-old still in high school.
Yes.
Speaking of disaster movies, was there like a committee in the film where they sat around to name the destiny? Like,
I
Deep
do
Earth
not
Seismic
remember.
Trigger Initiative, because INI comes from the word initiative.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like they just ran out of nouns. It's just-
It's the Desti.
oh wow! Like what was were they
I
focus
really
group
think
meetings?
in the writer's room, they were trying to think of those last two
They
words.
just fucking couldn't.
Wait. So the
Deep
Deep
Earth
Earth Seismic Trigger Initiative. Okay, I'm gonna make it better. The Deep Earth Science Trigger International
Navy Initiative.
Navy
because
Initiative.
it's an underground ship. Oh, but they're flying through the.
Oh no, it's the Deep Earth Scientific Trigger International Nuke Injector.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Ship it.
Ship
$1
it.
million.
Ship it. slap the WB logo on it. Add some DLC. Let's just kick it out the door.
And then
Do
go
you think
home
they
and eat a
initially-
bag of dicks.
Do you think they initially had Nuke Injector in there, and one person in the writing room was like,
That's
"Did we go
silly.
too far?"
It's like they're just
Not too far.
They're just looking at the whiteboard and they're like, okay, guys, we need to just dial it back one notch.
Or they were all really happy with it. Somebody from the studio walked in, and they're like, "No, you need to make it more believable." And the guy's like, "Oh." And just wiped off the last two words, and everyone in the room just clapped, and they're like, "Yeah!"
There was like a really slow clap. Like in disaster movies. They're like,
Brevity is the essence of wit. Yes.
We've done it. We fixed it.
Oh man.
The movie's now completely believable.
Oh, thank God. Budget $85 million. Box office $74 million.
Oh, they just missed it.
Oh, damn
they
it.
were so close.
Oh,
I'm
man.
slightly disappointed by that, because imagine what we could have had with the Core 2.
I think there was a core too.
No.
But by a different production company. That's sort of like,
Oh, like
direct to
Titanic
DVD. Yeah.
Okay.
The film garnered mixed reviews.
No shit.
They always say that. Mixed reviews.
On February 21, 2010, The Guardian ran an article about American professor Sidney Perkowitz's proposals to curb bad science in science fiction movies. In the article, Perkowitz is said to have hated the core. If you violate the coherent rules of science, you are in trouble. The chances are that the public will pick it up, and that is what matters in Hollywood. The core did not make money because people understood the science was so out to lunch.
How bad must your science be for the public to be like, nah,
Nah,
that's bad science.
But I mean,
man."
the thing about what I was just saying
Yeah,
about flat
flat
Earth.
earthers.
So that's
Yeah.
how bad this movie is. That even those people are like, I'm calling bullshit. Wow.
I have to apologize for this. There might be. There we go. Okay, no, it's not. No, it's a parody thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Rare leak trailer for the upcoming 2009 blockbuster, The Core 2 Ropey Shitlog.
Because the what they called the Virgil
Yeah.
looked like a ropey shitlog.
In fairness, no apology needed. I doubt you would be able to show me the actual film and the satire version side by side. I wouldn't know which one to shoot. Which one's the real one?
Which one do I shoot?
Oh man.
It's much more fun to talk about bad
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
for
disaster
sure.
movies.
It is, and seeing as we did open with the with the speech from the good Independence
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the less good one.
Which one's that, Dion?
It's the second one, Jason.
Oh my god.
There was just moon milk.
Moon milk,
There
yeah.
is a vending machine on the moon which sells milk labeled moon milk.
I think that might actually be a Chinese product. I looked it up, and I think there's a Chinese product called Moon Milk.
Why are they selling it on the moon?
Because it's okay. Full disclosure: I have not seen Independence Day Resurgence yet.
Your
So-
life is
so-
richer than ours.
No,
so-
you're poor for it. You need to watch it. You need to
Actually,
subject
no, you
yourself
do need to
to
watch it. It is a what did you
Yeah.
call it? A $300 million B movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is
amazing!
the thing about it is that you get sort of like good movies and you get bad movies, but you get the bad movies that are entertaining,
Yes,
obviously.
stuff
This
like
is
The Room.
very, very, very firmly in the room territory, but it's a $200 or $300 million sci-fi blockbuster. Well, let's not say blockbuster. It's intended as a blockbuster. It is, effort face or whatever they call it. That thing, that they do in movies where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't do this thing, and then they just grimace, and then it
Yes.
works. They do that all the time.
Grimace
But-
and yell. You've got to yell
grimace
for
and
things
yell,
to work.
but not exerting any effort. Like they'll be like controlling a machine.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're at.
So like a little
Right
like
in the beginning
the
with-
space equivalent of a tugboat that's sort of like pushing things up and like, oh, this thing's falling, and then the lesser
baby Thor.
baby lesser Hemsworth, he's sort of like he's now holding it up with his little space tugboat,
Yeah.
pushing it up, and then it's, oh no, there's no way we can do this, and he goes, ah! And then that somehow imbues his craft with more strength.
My favorite.
And he manages to do the thing.
And he does
And it
that
happens
about
all the
4
time.
times in the movie. Just
A
him. And then other characters also have their yells
A
while
man
moving
comes
machines.
out of a coma, one of the scientists from the original one,
Yeah.
out of a coma after 20 years, and the first thing
he's
he
been
does...
in a coma since the first...
Yeah, he said literally...
You know, you've seen the first one, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's pretty much the best disaster movie.
Yeah, I
there
mean,
is.
I
Spoilers.
remember I pulled out that quote from heart without reading anything.
Yeah,
course,
obviously,
of
there was no
course.
screens.
I mean, I just know
But
that off
the
by
guy
heart.
that was the doctor that was strangled
Yes.
and used to like as like a walkie-talkie basically.
Yes.
He's been in a coma.
Since that incident.
And when he wakes up,
Okay.
he jumps up and he starts running around. He climbs a ladder. There's no muscle atrophy. There's no disorientation. There's like a little bit of realization like, oh crap, I've been in a coma for 20 years. And then he's just fucking on the job.
Maybe he was sleepwalking in his coma.
Apparently. He's literally like running around like, and it's all comedy, you know, like the gown flapping open at the back and shit like that. And climbing over shit and lasering shit. And it's just... What is going on?
My favorite line from that movie, ex-president now, Whitmore's daughter comes to him complaining about things, and she's like, and I can't even speak to the president. And he says to her, well, if you can't speak to the president, why don't you just speak to your boyfriend? To which she replies, I can't speak to my boyfriend, Dad. He's on the moon.
That is not a line that gets
is a line.
said seriously. There is no
Dead
way.
serious. I can't speak to my boyfriend, Dad. He's on the moon.
And if
No.
if
You
know-
guys are coring me now.
you-
That is not a line.
if you've
This is
ever wanted to see which actor is it that does the PP?
Oh God, I can't
Is it a baby Hemsworth?
It could be baby. Oh, yes, he does.
He does. Baby Hemsworth urinating on an alien.
Why? Why?
Hijinks. he literally stands there and pisses on an alien.
Yeah.
It's a movie that...
What did he hear? That Will Smith punch right is like, nah, bro.
Nah,
I'm gonna one up this.
It's gonna be
He's
so
just like,
badass.
zip.
It's got the most, like, you know the kind of scene that happens at the end of one of these films where, you know, the man's gonna go off and he's sacrificing himself, and then the girl stands there.
Yeah, and the score swells, and it gets all like
they've had like
Aerosmith and like...
yeah, and they've mentioned stuff like throughout, you know, like throughout the movie they've been talking about planning their life together
Yes.
and all that stuff. That happens like 20 minutes into the movie, or half an hour into the movie. He's sitting in the cockpit, two people whose relationship you've seen nothing of. You know, you don't even necessarily know that they're together if you haven't been paying attention.
So they could be misconstrued as siblings, is what you're saying.
Effectively, for all the chemistry that's going on there. And he gets into the cockpit of the plane, and and he's like, you know, like the house on whatever street, yeah, you know, we should get that, and we can do the paving you wanted. I can't remember it word for word, because I gotta say I got a little bit drunk
I completely
after it.
forgot
Yeah.
about that part.
Yeah, and it's
be
like,
honest.
it's what in any other film would be this thing just before the end climax, where it's throwbacks to stuff. They wrote that scene, and they forgot to put a movie in front of it.
Yeah, felt exactly like that.
And I'm not exaggerating when I say that Independence Day Resurgence was like, oh my god, there's a lot of stuff coming back to me now.
Yeah, do you know what I just remembered?
The Warlord, for one thing.
No, not the Warlord. We'll get to him, but I want to go to what I remember now. And Goldblum, he Goldblums it up a little bit.
Oh
in
yeah,
that movie.
he Goldblums at heart.
But there's a lady scientist that works with him. I was looking through the IMDb now to find out which actress it was, and I'm not confident enough in remembering what her face looked like or what her character's name was to attribute this to any of the actresses I see there. But she was flubbing every single line, and those are the
literally-
takes they kept.
They were literally actors making very clearly making mistakes with their lines, like the kind of stuff that the director would say, like, okay, cool, let's take that again once or twice, and those were the lines they kept, where you can literally see an actress making clear mistakes.
Like stumbling, saying things wrong, and correcting herself, and then. But no, was
Not,
it
and not in
once-
character, like literally an actress making mistakes, B-roll, like almost not quite blooper reel, but very clearly like this is someone who flubbed their line.
And it wasn't once or twice.
So-
it was just throughout the entire movie, nearly every
It
single
makes
scene
makes me
she was
want to
in.
see the rest of those takes, how bad they had to be.
So-
But these were the best ones.
So did Emmerich just hand over the cast to his B unit director
Well,
and was like, you know what? I don't care about the people. I'm just here to make a cool alien movie.
they filmed. Apparently, the filming was really quick as well, and it
Yeah.
shows. All right, let me tell you one basic premise, right?
Yeah.
This sort of I'm gonna forget like some of the minutia. I watched it when it came out, and I think my brain's been doing its best to block this up. What I just remembered is that there's this sort of ship, right? That the U.S. military and NATO and all these
Oh,
people
yes.
they can't get hold of it. They can't look at it or learn anything from it or enter it because it's in this African nation where it sort of crash landed,
Yeah.
right? And the sort of the ruler, the warlord or whatever they call him.
He's too ruthless for them to get close.
No, they don't even say that. They just say he wouldn't allow them.
Yeah.
And now that he's sort of dead and his son is taken over, his son is friendlier, and he will allow the US to come and excavate probably the most valuable, powerful military artifact in the history of the world. Just think about that for a moment. That like a small African nation just said, no, the US, we don't want you excavating or like looking at this alien ship and harvesting the weapons that can make you the most powerful nation on Earth.
But even in
And
doing
America's
that-
just
America's
being like,
America's
cool.
just like, damn.
America's like, oh, come
God.
on.
And then like when his son eventually takes over 20 years later, they're like, oh goody, they're gonna let us look inside now. And he fights. He's actually the coolest character in the film.
I would, yeah.
I want to see
He's
his
the-
movie.
he's the most
he
wasted
Fights, he fights aliens with fucking machetes.
He
on his
dual
back.
wields machetes and fights aliens because apparently in Africa, the ship that crashed there had surviving aliens, and there was a massive ground war in Africa.
That
with the
sounds
aliens.
amazing. I want to watch that movie.
And this guy was known for like taking out entire battalions of these aliens on his own with machetes
sounds
in
like-
the middle of the night.
He sounds like.
and he
I wanna
basically
watch-
becomes like the sort of background like why he goes with like when they sort of they fly away now to the military base and all this stuff, he just kind of tags along.
He doesn't kill
and-
a single alien.
He does once.
Oh,
I
he
think.
does one,
Yeah,
okay.
he does once, and that's all they allow him. And the rest of the time he's just kind of standing in the background awkwardly like, I am also here.
Yeah, but
So,
how much
so they
cooler...
literally take someone whose backstory makes him the coolest, baddest motherfucker
somebody whose
on
backstory
earth.
makes an excellent movie premise.
Yeah.
And literally say, okay, Plonk, you're our token black guy now.
Pretty much.
Pretty much,
That is
yeah.
exactly what they do.
And,
Wow.
and there's a bumbling white bureaucrat guy.
Oh yeah.
Is it played
who-
by Charlie Day? Because then
No.
it's all right. Because Charlie Day can do bumbling for me.
I can't even remember who this bumbling fellow was. I think it's Nicholas Wright, but I can't be entirely sure. Who is, by the way, the writer of the movie. His character.
Right?
Sorry, speaking of the warlord's son
Yeah.
who kills aliens with a machete. Sorry, I just saw here at the top of Wikipedia, there's a regionalized little advert thing, Wiki Loves Africa. Share pictures of African people at work with the entire world and win great prizes. I said, whoa!
Okay, we'll get to the point I was talking about earlier. But wow.
I don't even know where to begin with that.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Okay,
And I love that they have quotes around African people at work.
Ooh. Did they put it in quotes because Trump recently said that all Africans are lazy, or?
I have no idea, but that is not only really
I mean,
insulting,
not to get political,
but also I'm very tempted to just post a picture of that guy murdering an alien with his machetes. It's like, this is how we fucking work.
Yeah. But
Okay, sorry, carry on.
As I was saying, writer of the movie, Nicholas Wright.
Right?
He plays a bumbling bureaucrat.
Is he the writer of the movie?
Yeah.
One
Did
of
he
the
write-
One of the writers.
So
'Cause
Nicholas
as far
Wright
as I know,
righted himself into
it's
the right movie.
screenplay by Nicholas Wright.
Because as far as I know, this film had about 5 or 6 writers, and what they did was they wrote
Five or six.
Yeah, they wrote scenes separately. They never met each other, and they were like,
That's your list of writers.
Oh, really? How many?
Oh my Jesus Christ! There's like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh my
12
god! I thought
writers.
I thought
That's-
I was being satirical.
no.
Okay, so 12 writers. I guarantee you, they never met each other, and
That's
none of them
more
were
than
really
Transformers
and none
movies.
of them were really sure what film they were writing. And they were just like, guys, listen, we have to go into production tomorrow. We need scenes for a sci-fi film, like a big ass. We're not sure if it's going to be in an Independence Day movie, so just keep with the tropes. I know none of you have ever seen a sci-fi film, but you've seen parodies.
That's probably where that ending came from. One of them was probably like, the other guy must have written something like this.
And it's just, and they took everything they generated in those frenzied few hours,
Yeah.
threw them up into the air, landed, and then they gave it to one guy, and they're like, okay, dude, you've got half an hour. You've got half an hour
What they did is they
to put in
all the
Independence Day
different
references.
all the different scenes in a hat, and they shook it about, and each writer had to take.
It was Mad Libs. And then the scientist, who was in a coma, runs around with his butt hanging out.
Too accurate. That joke shouldn't be that accurate. Why?
Oh man.
Okay, I really need to see
You
Resurgence.
absolutely, it's so entertainingly awful, and there's so many mind-numbing bits that it's unbelievable. Okay, tell us about Mr. Right.
Oh yeah, so we keep getting distracted by how bad this movie actually was. But there's this whole weird relationship between Mr. Right and the warlord's son,
Yeah.
where he keeps trying to win the warlord's son's approval.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, you're not a man until you've murdered an alien with your own hands.
Which, to be fair to the Warlord's son, I would be the same. I'd be like,
Yeah.
no, you ain't a man. Have you killed a battalion of these fuckers? No, fuck off.
Yeah. And then somewhere near the end of the movie, he like fumbles his way into killing an alien with a gun, and the warlord's son is like, you're a man now, friend. And then essentially, like, pretty much hugs him. Like they've been brothers forever.
Oh my word. That is just, I don't say this often, but my god, that's problematic. that is just problematic on so many fucking levels. Alright, and that's actually what I was intimating at the beginning of the episode. Because when people talk about disaster movies, it's such a loose. I mean, Twister is apparently a disaster movie, even though those people go looking for those fucking twisters.
Yes.
That is it's just a natural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like that happens all
It's
the time,
just
and they're
weather.
driving behind it in a bucky.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah. Oh my god, catch that tornado.
Oh, this is a disaster. Something went wrong. How?
Oh god, what's happening?
Fucking ozone
How did we
layer.
get into this situation? Damn you, global warming!
Oh, and yeah. So my feeling is that for something to truly be a disaster movie, in my mind, the film itself also has to be a disaster. So for instance, like The Core
Yeah.
is a disaster movie.
Okay.
Independence Day 2 is a disaster movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a disastrous film about some form of disaster.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to be a much more pleasing sort of
Yeah.
way
That
of
is
so-
now
so-
the
so
CineBeards
just for the-
definition of a disaster
So
movie.
for instance, yeah, like Titanic isn't a disaster movie. It's a love
romance.
story. It's a romance where something disastrous happens.
Yes.
So
Original
unfortunately,
Independence Day then would be an alien invasion.
it would be
film.
like an action sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A disaster movie is The Core.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess find this.
All right.
Volcano and Dante's Peak.
Yeah.
Oh, those were both in 1997.
Okay.
I was gonna say 96.
So then I guess
And
in
we-
No,
1990.
96 was Twister.
Oh, and Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in 97 then we got two lava themed movies.
It's like
one that's
like
an action
ants and a bug's
adventure.
life. It's
Yeah.
just
One's an
One is
action,
an action
adventure,
adventure, the other's
starring
a
Pierce
disaster.
Brosnan
And the other's a disaster movie
with Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
oh my word. Was Volcano the Tommy Lee Jones one?
Yes.
Yeah. Volcano
Yeah.
was the one where suddenly, for no reason, a volcano started growing underneath Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yes.
And lava kind of
See,
seeped
now
up
that's
through the cracks.
that's a disaster movie.
Yeah.
They walk slowly away from it because it moves so slowly.
Yeah.
And they're like, how are we gonna guide this? Literally, they just walk away.
They just literally stroll away for a bit.
And they stroll away, they sit down and have like a love plot and a kiss and then things, and then the lava kind of gets a little bit closer to them, like, oh, we should probably move. It's like when you're at the sea, at the beach, and the tide starts coming in,
Yeah.
and you're like, we should move up a
But
bit.
not even that fast, though. No.
But then they should know their solution.
My favorite scene in all of Volcano is where the one, like, subway worker,
Oh, when he helps the dude out the train.
when he helps, like, this train is sitting in fucking lava, right? And it's not bursting into flames or anything, it's just in the lava.
Alright, yeah.
And you're like, this guy, this, like, subway worker helps a guy out of the train, but then he sort of falls feet first into the lava and starts slowly melting.
Melts into a puddle of human in the lava. He doesn't catch fire. He
There's a
doesn't
little
burn
bit
to
of
death.
fire. There's a little bit of fire, but he's clearly
Is he like
melting.
a wicked witch? Oh my god.
But their solution to this
Sounds
is like,
outstanding.
they're like, okay, look, we gotta guide this lava to the sea.
Yes.
We've got all these roads here, but I think we should blow up that really large, important building, kill 2 people, and have the lava get into the sea that way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to see this. With Tommy Lee Jones.
With Tommy Lee Jones, and
Jones.
he's so
who must
serious.
look so disapproving the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's what he does. He looks backwards, disapproving at the lava as he
and of
as
course-
he walks away slowly at a leisurely pace.
And
getting
of course,
on.
what has to be said as well is the female lead is Tommy Lee Jones's daughter, or the character, like he's her dad. Remember that?
Oh god, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Is it his real life daughter?
No. In the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like,
It's his character's daughter.
She's like, I need to phone my dad. And then he comes because he's a lava expert that just happens to live in LA.
I was reading a synopsis of the movie, which had like, okay, this is the point in the movie with the highest stakes.
Alright.
The stakes are pretty high here, so hold on to your butts.
Yeah, hold on to your butt, like both hands.
So,
Done.
this really high stakes scene, there's this lava coming into a house, okay? And the old lady runs away from the slow moving lava. But she forgets her tiny dog. Her tiny dog turns around, barks at the lava, and then goes through its pet door. And that's the highest stakes scene in the movie. It's a dog barking at lava and walking away. Oh my god.
I've only seen what is it?
Dante's Peak.
Yeah. I just remember the old lady getting out of the boat into the sort of acidic water.
Dante's Peak was also a bit far-fetched.
Now
a little bit.
I do remember enjoying it at the time.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it holds up, but I do
I don't
remember
want to-
thinking it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, in Dante's Peak, they don't try to divert lava flow with a city bus.
Oh my sweet lord!
And it works!
It's South
can
Park
melt
lava
humans.
logic.
Yes!
Duck and cover. I always thought that Volcano, because it was sort of with Tommy Lee Jones, but I never actually saw it. I thought that was the sort of the
good
weird
one.
one. The good. I thought that was Bug's Life, and the Dante's Peak was Ants.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh wow. Okay, that's good. And then I don't feel so bad.
Okay, but then let's move on to 1998, which was the disaster movie and which was the asteroid-themed action movie. We got Deep Impact and Armageddon.
See, Armageddon, I'd say, is sort of there's a lot of things you can throw at it, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it a disaster movie.
Oh no, God!
No.
It's far too
It's like a-
coherently entertaining.
It's like a
to be a
like,
disaster.
Suspense, action, adventure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bit of romance if I remember right.
Yes. Yeah.
Weird
remember.
romance, but
Weird
romance.
I mean, Aerosmith have a song in it, like
It's Michael Bay. It's gonna be slightly.
Yeah.
I mean,
it-
remember Liv Tyler fucks Ben Affleck to her dad singing, you know?
Oh, sweet lord! I
And it's
forgot about
strongly implied that she's just come of age and he's like
Yes.
in his 30s.
that. Okay, fantastic. Michael Bay. All
So-
right.
so
So
a
Michael-
message
you
from
didn't
Michael
have to tell
Bay.
me you directed that. And then there was the disaster film Deep Impact.
Deep Impact, in which at the end of the movie, when the asteroid hits, one of the two hit.
Yes.
The other one gets destroyed
Yeah.
by nuclear weapons.
You see
But
that that's the kind of restraint that the writing team of the core didn't have. It's like, well, there's one asteroid. No, there's two. And then they were like, cool, all right, we've improved upon our concept. Let's leave it here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but so this asteroid hits Earth. Okay, massive tidal waves
In the middle of the Atlantic
middle
Ocean.
of the
if I
Atlantic Ocean.
remember.
All that happens is just a really big wave that just destroys half of America and like all the surrounding countries and stuff, and kills 1 million people. Yeah, the president is there at the end, Morgan Freeman, in front of a White House that's being rebuilt, and he's like, over 1 million people have lost their lives, and even
Yeah.
more have lost their homes.
Over 1 million people. 800 million to be precise.
And it doesn't even make sense because there's this whole subplot of a lottery to see who can go to an underground vault to survive.
Oh god, I forgot about the Underground Vault Lottery! I forgot there were silly things in Deep Impact! Because I always think, like, I remember, like you said with Dante's Peak,
Yeah.
like, I remember Deep Impact being, like, the serious of the two. I can remember Morgan Freeman being president.
Well, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
And I can remember, like most of the movie, the people running are just sort of evacuating coastal cities. That I remember. That sort of overarching thing. I can't remember an Arc lottery. Are you sure that wasn't just 2012?
No, it was a subplot in Deep Impact.
I need to rewatch
Okay,
Deep Impact.
well, Armageddon scored 39% and Deep Impact scored 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but what do critics know?
Yeah, exactly. They just biased against DC.
Yeah, I think that is the one case where neither one of them was actually a disaster.
Yeah,
of a
I
movie.
think I have bad memories of Deep Impact. I remember not enjoying it, and I remember thinking Armageddon was pretty cool. But again,
You were young and impressionable,
I was
and Michael Bay
12.
appealed.
Yeah, I
to
was
that.
12, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the Michael Bay sweet spot.
But yeah, neither of them are really disaster movies
Yeah.
by our new
Yeah.
definition of
Yeah,
disaster
but-
movie.
yeah,
By the CineBeards definition of disaster movie.
I'd say they're both large scale action suspense dramas.
Yes.
But I got something to put forward then as a disaster movie.
All right.
The Happening.
I have not seen The Happening.
What? No.
Yeah, that one. The one, it's the M. Night Shyamalan movie where it turns out
That
the
plots
reason...
are evil. And
Yeah.
That's one I have not seen.
Oh my god, it's fantastic.
Oh no, I was so soured on him until Split.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so. Oh.
But you-
I think the last one I watched was The Village, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and that was like, nah, it's okay.
So
But
do-
you've got Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, great. Yes, Marky
Okay.
Mark.
Okay, who plays a professor?
All
Yeah.
right, suspension of disbelief engaged.
Yeah, he's a professor wearing khakis
All right, yeah.
in New York,
All right, cool.
and
A Boston accent apparently. Carry on.
Yeah.
Boston accent. I think I can't remember.
Boston.
Like, I just really want Mark Wahlberg to have a Boston accent in everything, you know.
All right.
So he's talking about climate change, you guys, and like how it's.
Oh my god, does he sit on
dangerous,
his
you know?
does he sit backwards with the chair backwards?
I don't think he sits backwards on a chair. On the chair backwards.
Then how can he relate to his students?
Oh, that's the thing.
How
He
can his
can't-
students relate to
He
him?
can't relate to them, So he goes on and on and on, and they don't listen to him.
Okay.
And I'm nailing this Mark Wahlberg in
This
the
sounds,
happening thing.
I'm actually like, where is he? Is he behind Marcus?
And then, people start going crazy, and people start evacuating cities, and they figure out, like, Mark Wahlberg and his girlfriend, wife, or friend. It's very unclear,
Oh, no, it's his wife, I think.
Wife, then
I don't... I
escape,
don't know.
escape the city because they think, maybe it's something in the cities that's turning people insane. because people are literally going crazy.
Okay, just to clarify, this is still an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yes.
Oh, sweet lord, yeah? Okay.
Oh, the twist is coming for you hard.
The twist is coming.
It's
The twist is coming
this.
for you. So they go into the countryside, right? Because it's supposed to be safer there. Like in the country where it's quiet and there aren't that many people.
Oh, there's just plants, and plants are never bad.
Plants are never bad. And, so they find some more people, and these people are even crazier, And the whole movie, they're alluding to something. Like, maybe it's in the air because they showed a lot of plants and, like, wind blowing through them and everything. And he's like, the plants. The plants are making us crazy, you guys. We've got to murder Earth.
There is legit in the movie a scene where Mark Wahlberg has a conversation with a houseplant,
Yes.
asking it kindly not to kill him.
Fuck off. Are you coring me?
What? That's not Jason. Ashton Kutcher.
I thought it was just gonna be a plant underneath.
No, the happening is a disaster.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like the thing is that is a disaster.
That is a disaster movie.
But that's the twist. The fact that plants are evil.
It has to be a disaster because the term has become so broad. I feel that it has to work on two levels.
Yeah.
There has to be this thing that happens to mankind beyond mankind's control.
Like plants being evil.
No. There has to be something that happens to mankind that's out of mankind's control. That's just this sort of massive fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And within that film, something bad has to happen.
Yes. And the film itself has to be of disastrous quality.
You missed the joke.
I did it.
Yeah, you did.
I'm a bad podcaster.
Yeah.
Bad.
We can cut you missing the joke. Just go.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow and your bedroom just gonna be just potted plants everywhere.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past you two assholes.
Oh man.
Okay, so that being
My question is,
Yeah?
more important than anything you're about to say is, are we gonna watch Geostorm?
Definitely.
Okay.
I want to.
We are definitely gonna watch
I
Geostorm.
think we need to go to like a midweek late night screening.
Yeah.
And
Thursday night.
we
Late
need to get
Thursday night
we
is...
need to get completely shit faced. And we need to watch the hell out of that movie. And I'm looking forward to recording a review for Geostorm.
You realize if we're going to the late show, we're going to be recording at like 1 in the morning.
That's fine.
Just drunk off our asses.
A CineBeards disaster update. Storm warning.
Storm warning. Oh shit! All right, we're gonna call it there on that note.
right.
Recommendations for this week, really, really easy for me. Go see Blade Runner 2049.
Again.
Do it again. If
Do
you've
it
only
again.
seen it twice, you're a bad person. You should go watch it a third time.
If the stars have aligned, it should be on 4K this week.
Oh my goodness, yes, please.
Let us pray.
Let us pray. Yeah, Blade Runner 2049. Go
Do
see it. Dion.
Alright, so my recommendation for Blu-ray or rental would of course be Spider-Man Homecoming, which drops today on Blu-ray and digital and DVD and smartwatch and microwave.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm gonna get it
It's
for my
actually-
microwave.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good Spider-Man movie too. It's quite entertaining.
Yes, Marcus. Yes, it is.
Pushing buttons. Hey, let's see how we're gonna annoy Dion this week. So, Spider-Man Homecoming was average.
It was okay. I'll fucking throw a chair at you. Assholes.
Marcus, streaming?
Streaming, nothing new this week that's really worth checking out. Netflix has slowed down a bit for October, but I did find a film by Jong Boon-ho, who has directed Snowpiercer and Okja.
Yeah.
Some of you may know that he directed a monster movie as well, The Host. That is on Netflix, and it is, without saying anything, just go watch it.
it's there and it's really good.
All right. Oh,
Alright.
spoiler.
Well, if it's the guy who did Okja and specifically Snowpiercer.
No, it's really good, and it does do the Jung Boon-ho thing of like mixing all types of different genres. It's a bit schizophrenic, but if you like his style, you're gonna like The Host.
Nice.
All right, cool. So as always, plugs, I guess.
All right. You can
Yeah.
follow me at DionVanHidden1 on Twitter because some asshole with a stupid name got there first.
You can follow me on @Viking of Science on Twitter, and I'm using a sexy voice. You can also find me on YouTube, where I have a channel, Escape from Mount Backlog. We play video games there, and I believe I'm giving Dion the vapors.
I got the vapors.
You can find me there on YouTube, Escape from Mount Backlog. That channel also has its own Facebook and Twitter account, so you can check that out there if you like social media that much. And Horror Month is continuing, so I think this week I'll give you a little bit of a tease, something to do with a mental hospital and whistleblowing.
Soccer match
Crazy
in the
Town
mental
whistleblower.
hospital.
I know it well.
That should be going up this week. Yeah, so check that out on Friday.
Cool. And you can follow me at jmusicanth on Twitter. I don't really tweet. I retweet the CineBeards stuff.
Hooray.
So if you want to get them twice, follow me at jmusicanth and follow us at CineBeards. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube and Podiant. So as always, we're gonna go drink Krabbies, enjoy ourselves, and maybe watch a terrible movie.
Hooray!
Hooray!